Hello, this is Mish, and welcome to another WestWorld video. So this one is predictions for Season 2. I thought this would be a lot of fun. I wanted to get the ball rolling and the theories flying around what we may see in Season 2. So it's going to be a long time until we actually get to watch anything around Season 2. So at least a year, but I wonder how long it will be until we start seeing things like leaked photos, leaked locations, new actors being signed up, new characters and trailers and other things like that. So I wanted to just get this conversation started. Whilst we have a lot of information we can carry on from Season 1, Season 2 is very open because the show could go in so many different directions. Some examples could be the hosts just all get consciousness and try and infiltrate the mainland. We could have another one which would be a host, the uprising being defeated by the security, and the park going back to having a sense of control. Another option would be that WestWorld gets completely overrun by the hosts, and we have a kind of a guerrilla warfare type situation where we have pockets of human resistance fighting against the hosts. Another option would be, let's involve the other parks that we're aware of, so the Samurai World. We have other ones in there as well. We have from the movie, the 1973 movie, we have Roman World and Medieval World. So let's chuck them in there. Possibly this will spread to the other parks. Now to add on to this, creators Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy have also given us a few hints as to Season 2. So these are some of the things that they have told us already. If the first season was defined by control, the second season is defined by chaos. Another thing is Ford has set in motion what he thinks is a plan. The nature of that plan is something we explore in the second season. Another few points here. This is about the physical nature of the hosts that Nolan mentioned. They are largely indistinguishable from human beings. We already know that. But their brains do not require oxygen, which opens up interesting possibilities. He also mentioned their brains are not as fragile as ours. On one hand, their cognition is controllable and malleable, but on a structural level they can't be killed in the same way you or I can. There are advantages and disadvantages to being a host. Season 2 will be exploring more the nuts and bolts of what they are, as the hosts themselves are trying to understand. Now Lisa Joy added another point here which I think is very interesting. She mentioned consciousness might not be the right word. Is it consciousness? Is it programming? Is it awareness? Now with all that taken on board, I'm going to break this next section down to three, story arcs or three main character groups. So let's start with Elsie and Stubbs, because we do have some information about those characters after the fact. So if you're not aware, there's a website which is DallasIncorporated.com. It's been running the whole time the show's been running. It's quite fun because you can jump on that site and you can muck around with it previously. But that website actually has gone down. Well, it's not really gone down, it is presenting an error. Now, some clever folks somewhere, I think it was probably on Reddit this has come from, found out that if you take the code from that site, put it through a hex to text converter, then put it through a converter which is base 64, it will present you to websites. Now if you go to those websites, one of them shows a tablet which is revealing Elsie's location, so we've seen that previously in episode 6 I believe, and another one is Elsie saying hello. So then that leads us to the question, what has happened to those two characters? So Elsie and Stubbs, if they haven't been killed, they've been captured. Now have they been captured against their will, or have they been captured and then delivered a truth that they now fight for? I guess the only thing that I've got to go on with these characters, I do have many theories, but the only thing at the moment, which for me is a bit of a reference, is when we see Elsie is captured. The next scene is Maeve, and it's Sylvester finding out that Maeve's code has been altered by someone using Arnold's logon. Now, I know a lot of people would say that's just Ford. For me, I don't think Maeve's situation matches what Ford is doing with his Wyatt narrative. To add to that, when Stubbs is knocked out by the Ghost Nation, he falls to the ground. Then the character which wakes up from the ground is Logan. Now once again, it's a stretch to believe that Logan is somehow involved with these characters, but on the other side of that, Logan has has been sent off butt naked on a horse, and we've never heard from him again. And that's a historic thing which happened 30 years ago. Could it be that somehow Logan is tied with these characters? Is he, seeking revenge upon William and Delos, and he's working on of his own volition here? It's an option. I know it's drawing a long bow, but for me, with those characters, that's the only thing I can think of at the moment. The only character which I can associate with them, which isn't tied up with other things. Unless there's a character which we don't know about yet, who's going to be introduced next season, which is always a possibility. And since we mentioned Maeve, let's move on to her next. So the Maeve situation. She has made a conscious decision to not go on the train. If you remember, her code was saying, infiltrate the mainland. So that's what her code said. Someone programmed that in there, someone with the Arnold's log on. So she has gone against that code and gone off to find her daughter. And we've seen that she has the coordinates of that and with the world as well. So now the question is, if she finds her daughter, what's she going to do? Is that enough for her to be content in life, to be with her daughter in the park? Possibly. On the other side as well, her daughter can't leave the park immediately because, a few reasons. She has the explosive in C6, the spine section. On the other side, her daughter would probably, unless she's conscious herself, unless she is also being affected by the bicameral mind and the reveries, she's not going to want to leave. She's not going to understand. And she's probably not going to remember either. So we've got many things there's going to be a time where she's going to need to talk to her and obviously try and dig up the memory. So there's going to be a while whilst that's going on. But then the other side is, would she want to leave anyway? If she actually starts remembering, why would you want to risk all that work to get out of the park when if the park is big enough, they might actually be able to be safe in the park in a remote area? But once again, is that code that infiltrate the mainland going to come back? Was it even her decision? That's once again tricky. And that goes back to the whole concept which Lisa Joy mentioned. Are they conscious? Is it programming? That's quite interesting. So the final area I want to cover is really the story about the Wyatt narrative, Dolores, and what happens to the board. So this will possibly be the main driving force behind Season 2. Well, for the first part anyway. I think Ford is probably dead. For me, his speech really suggested that it was him. But we do have one option here. That host that was being built under Ford's house, the secret house that he had there, maybe that was a version of himself. Now, we have two options with that. Possibly the version of himself was the person that Dolores shot. Or the other side could be that he did make himself, an image of himself, possibly even a younger version of himself, that he wants the host version to work with Bernard going forward, so they will never die. Maybe that's an option. But what is the plan for the narrative? So for me, Dolores and Wyatt soldiers, their goal here at the moment is to destroy the board and probably take over WestWorld. But will it really pan out like that? A couple of points I think we need to consider. One is around consciousness and who is conscious. Dolores is conscious, probably the most confirmed out of all of them. Maeve, probably conscious as well because we see her make a decision. But that's a bit shrouded in mystery with that one. And possibly Bernard. So the way ahead will really be sticking for the rest of the hosts what Ford has planned for them. And remember as well that Ford told Bernard, you are not ready to leave yet, there's more pain ahead. So how far has Ford gone with the Wyatt narrative is really the question. Nolan did mention that Season 2 will be chaos, and also the narrative will be a big part. So one part I would say has to be certain is that Dolores is not going to be captured and reset for a while, at least anyway, because she is currently in the Wyatt narrative. She is Wyatt. And if they capture her and destroy her consciousness, the whole narrative will probably break down. I think it's going to be Dolores is going to be around for a while. I'm going to say that we're going to have a lot of board members die. We already have seen at least 2 or 3 of them that have died. I think we're going to be looking at a situation where the park tries to remain open, or at least is aiming to reopen. Dolores, being that Wyatt character, will use the soldiers that she has to take control of large areas of the park, working to control the facility so they can repair and assist hosts, and also possibly even remove that C6 section of the spine so they can maybe even leave the park if they want to. Remember, the hosts currently have the element of surprise across the board. In the facility, they have the element of surprise. Around Escalante, once again, element of surprise. So I think as well, on the other side, the security forces, they will have a contingency here. They're not stupid. Charlotte Hale is very smart. She'll have a contingency plan ready. They've come back from these kind of situations before. The initial one where Arnold died, that was a big situation, and also it was mentioned as well that they have had other incidents before. The reference to the movie, I think, is probably the point there. So my predictions really, I guess, to summarize, host versus human as they battle for the park sections, section by section, and possibly the facility. I think Maeve will really be torn what to do with a child. Should she stay in the park with it, or should she possibly try and advance it and then leave the park? And I think Elsie and Stubbs will return, perhaps with a new character assisting, or maybe with someone that we're overlooking. Possibly Logan is an option. There's people as well, I guess Ford's brother. He's been referenced a few times. So we've got a lot of options. I could go a lot more in depth across all these ideas, but I think I've covered the basics here. So thanks for watching. And of course, leave me some comments below. That is one of the main drivers why I do these videos, to get you guys' feedback, because I really enjoy that conversation. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please subscribe, like and share the video, and I'll talk with you again next time. Take care.